Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1.
Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, welcome into a Tuesday edition of the JP Peterson Show. We are loaded, locked and loaded, and we have breaking BFN. That's redundant, BFN. Breaking BFN is redundant. That's breaking effing news.
It's BBFN.
Whoopsie.
It's like I just logged into a sex
But
site.
anyway, we got breaking news, goddammit. And we're going to get to that in moments, in absolute moments, because it's big. Brian Bradley's going to join us today from Morning Skate. That's breaking news. How about that? We'll find out who's playing tonight, who's not, and if the fire department is actually on scene for the Morning Skate to put Kucherov out.
Oh,
He's so freaking hot. You'll need the entire fire department to put him out, but we don't want to put him out. He's scorching hot. So, yeah, we'll be ready for that, and we'll talk a lot of football here today because there's big breaking news. The Bucs have signed Christian Roseboom. That's not the breaking news. The breaking news is it means exactly what you thought it would mean. Lavonte David is retiring. The Buccaneers have just called a press conference for 2:00 today with him. I'm pretty sure that's not to announce that he's coming back after this signing. If he were coming back, they would not be holding a press conference for that. So,
yeah, they didn't do that last year.
Yeah. So it is obviously the end of an era here in Tampa Bay in a lot of different ways. We'll get into that in just a little bit. But good morning to you, IndyCarTim. How are you, my friend? You found your way to the Dallas studio. How about that?
I did, man. It feels like I haven't been here in a month.
Mm.
It's only been a couple weeks, but I came right back to it just like I left it.
Yeah.
So it's still here. I'm having issues on these bar stools. For those that don't know, this table is a bar height table, so I've got the bar stools. But the way the bar stools are set up, like I got to really bend my knees to get them on the little footrest thing.
Oh,
no.
no.
My right knee doesn't bend that well yet.
Yeah. So. That's no good. So you're playing hurt again.
Yeah.
We appreciate you, but he's the reason we're late today, so blame it on him.
It's always my fault.
We argue about how good Christian Roseboom is.
Or how good he's not.
Or how good he's not, right? Whatever. But yeah, this is about Lavonte David, obviously. And obviously I've covered Lavonte for his entire career. And just from a personal standpoint, I mean, you want to talk about a class act who was always there in the dark times to answer questions. I so respect guys like that. I so respect them because, especially guys like Lavonte who actually care. I mean, there's guys who will, they score a touchdown in a 37-14 game, and it's the only time that he stays by his locker to talk to the reporters, right? Otherwise, he's out the door. Lots of guys like that, but guys that stand in there game in and game out as a captain and take the heat, answer the questions in a class act kind of way. They're always special to the media that cover them because we really, really appreciate it, and we understand that it's not easy to do because you sit there and you're emotional. 50% of the questions are just stupid, and you try not to overreact to them. They're either stupid or they've already been asked 4 times because guys come in and out, and I'm not saying anything against the reporters. It's just, except for the stupid questions. But you come in and out, you're trying to cover a lot of different things. You show up late and to the gaggle and, hey, I'm sorry if you've already answered this, but you need to get that answer. So, and his patience is just, and you've been there the whole time. So you hear the people come in and they ask the other question and he answers it again. And it's just like, man, I mean, he's just got his ass kicked, for 60 minutes. He's hurting. He's bleeding. It's their 4th loss in a row. Guys around him are just playing like shit. And he's really, really good player. And he doesn't throw anybody under the bus. And he answers every question with class and sincerity. And I mean, it's really freaking hard to do. And I can't tell you how many times I saw Lavonte David do that. A lot. And so you really appreciate that from him as a consummate professional. And and I think, and this is a statement I will make without any fear whatsoever. In my time covering this league and covering the Bucs for almost 30 years now, I have never in the league seen a player so underrated for most of his career. Lavonte David, since he was drafted out of Nebraska in the second round, has been one of the premier inside linebackers in this league. And he has, and I don't have the numbers right in front of me. I'm going to get them. Or Timmy, you can, while I go on this little monologue, if you want to rack them up. His numbers are better than Luke Kuechly's, who played basically in the same era, played a lot less seasons, and was the first, if I'm not mistaken, Luke Kuechly went on the first ballot, if I'm not mistaken, first ballot Hall of Famer. The only thing Lavonte doesn't have is an excessive amount of Pro Bowls because he was constantly overrated and overlooked because he was playing on a losing franchise. You're not playing a glamour position, but you are just racking up, and not just tackles. We're talking about, as we can argue about PFF grades, we're talking about a guy that made lots of tackles, but made them, closer to the line of scrimmage and made big plays constantly. He leads in among inside linebackers. He has more than Kuechly, forced fumbles, fumble recoveries, tackles for loss, I believe, all of those. If I'm not mistaken, Timmy, if you come up with them, shut me up and go ahead and read them all off. It's just exemplary in every way. And those are just the numbers that you can quantify. His numbers from an inside linebacker standpoint are Hall of Fame worthy. There is no question about it. No question about it. Having won a Super Bowl and, shutting down Patrick Mahomes in said Super Bowl is another big, big plus in that category that Hall of Fame voters love to see. It's just, for the most part, it's always been that he is such an understated guy. Obviously he's not a big talker. For many, many years, he would always do the interviews, but, he's a very soft-spoken guy, super classy guy. But man, what a fierce, fierce competitor. And I'm going to say this too. I'm glad he's retiring. Last year was not vintage Lavonte David. Year before, I thought he played really well. And then he came back for another year, and I was like, okay. But there were times where I would look out there and I'd say, wow. As we look at every play, probably 2 or 3 times a week, and I'd be like, wow, that almost looks like a loaf. And I know he ain't loafing. So he's hurt. And it came to be that he was having his knee drained every game in order to play. And at some point you just say, why am I doing this? And I think last year he and many of us thought this was a Super Bowl worthy team. But this is another thing that we don't want to get into too much today, but this is just another notch in the argument on the con side. The Bucs aren't going for it. They're clearly rebuilding. And why would you come back for that? Just to make a few more $1 million? Nah, that's not his style. That's not Lavonte's style. He's not a money guy. He's got plenty for himself and everybody else in his family, and he will share and charitable and all that stuff. So he's not going to do that. He's not going to besmirch his great name and great abilities to just come back for another season. You're not going to win anything on this team. He knows that. And, call it a career. Your numbers are Hall of Fame worthy. And you go out, I don't think last year was terrible. I don't think he was terrible last year. It just wasn't to his standards. And he knows that. And getting your knee drained every game will do that. So I think this is a great decision on his part. Don't make it worse. We've seen so many guys that go out, try to get stretched for that extra year. I think this last year was kind of that extra year, but it was good. It was good. It wasn't great. It was good. And that's a great way to go out. So tip of the cap to Lavonte David, one of the best to ever do it. I would say, and it's so fitting. And I asked Lavonte this on his last game, and when he did that press conference, it kind of felt like he knew it was over at that point. He came in, and normally we don't talk to linebackers after a game like that, and he came into the podium because we all kind of knew, and he thanked the media. So it really felt like a goodbye, and it was. He knew it then. And I asked him, I said, is it kind of, the statisticians can always go back and look at film, and they might find a couple more tackles, and he could be the leading tackler in franchise history. It's all because, who got the tackle is sometimes a very subjective thing, and the coach's tape is much different than sometimes than the official stat tape. So official stat decisions. So I'm sure they might be able to, but it's kind of apropos. I asked him that. He goes, yeah. Being right next to Derek Brooks. I mean, it's amazing. Both of them playing 15 years and having the exact same amount of tackles. I mean, that's insane. That's crazy. But it's also perfect. It's also perfect because we canonized Derek Brooks, and rightfully so. And he was a defensive player of the year. Lavonte was not. Obviously Derek had more Pro Bowls, more accolades, and because the Bucs defense was really good then. They won a Super Bowl and they were relevant during the Dungy years, right? Most of Lavonte's career, the Bucs were not. So it's different. But I would say, even though I have a little bit more bias towards Derek, obviously having known him since his high school days, that they're pretty comparable. When it comes to Bucs lore, those two should stand side by side, because they were both that impactful to the game, in the community. So, I look forward to.
Can I?
Yes, please.
Can I play devil's advocate here?
No. Sure, go ahead.
Look, I love Lavonte David, and what he means to the Bucs, there's no question. Everything that you just said is 100% true. His name belongs up there with Derek Brooks as far as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers organization goes. But I think he has a long, hard, nearly impossible road to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I don't think it's close. And it's because of the lack of the regular season accolades. I know the numbers. Trust me. I'm looking at them right now, and I'm comparing them to Derek Brooks. And
go ahead and spout them off.
Lavonte David.
Yeah.
Okay. Career. And by the way, he has 3 more total tackles than Derek Brooks.
They did find 3 more.
He's at 17-16. Derek Brooks is official at 17-13.
Okay. At the end of the season, they were officially tied. So I guess that they changed that.
Yeah, I'm showing 17-16 now for Lavonte David. Solo tackles. By the way, he is the active leader. Not that he's going to be active anymore in solo tackles in the league at 1172. Derek Brooks had 1,300 total. Tackles for loss, 177 for Lavonte David. Derek Brooks only had 68.
How about that?
But here's the issue. Derek Brooks has 11 Pro Bowls, 5 All-Pros, a Defensive Player of the Year, Walter Payton Award, an All-2000s team, a Pro Football Writers Association Defensive Player of the Year. Lavonte David has 1 Pro Bowl, one first-team All-Pro, and 2 second-team All-Pros over 14 years. I'm just saying, I'm not saying I agree with this. Obviously, we know what he means and who he is. I'm just saying from a national standpoint, and guys like this get overlooked all the time. They're locally Hall of Famers, and there's no question about it. Trust me, we got 1,000 guys that played for the Cowboys that are like that. But when you look at national numbers and when you look at who's voting for the Pro Football Hall of Fame, man, it is going to be tough, I think, for him to get in. This might be a guy that's on the ballot every year and just never makes it.
Yeah, that could happen. No, I don't disagree with you there. And those, Rondé was a 5-time Pro Bowl pick, and that's more than one. And you could go argue that Kuechly would always get those nods instead of Lavonte David, because at that time the Panthers were more relevant, and he was getting all the press. But when you look at forced fumbles, like if you look at inside linebackers numbers in terms of forced fumbles recovered, interceptions, sacks, all those, like he's at the top of the list on almost every single one for his position. And remember, Derek was kind of more of an outside more of an outside rover linebacker position than an inside linebacker position like Lavonte played. So it is a little bit of a different position. But for inside linebackers, those Mike linebackers, Lavonte's numbers are the best. And that's going to be hard to ignore. And once you get in the room, I think especially now, Pro Bowls, have diminished in such value that I think it's less of a, it used to be you get 8, 9 Pro Bowls, you're automatic Hall of Famer. That's just the way it is. And now I think it's because it's all devolved into some popularity and bullshit and everything. So,
well, back in Derek Brooks' day, the Pro Bowl still meant something.
Yeah, exactly. It's
not anymore.
Yeah. So I think, but your argument's a very good one. And it's, and honestly, it's the same for Mike Evans. I think Mike's got a better resume, but people, he's more locally famous than he is nationally famous. People don't understand that because Mike has never been a me guy. He's never been an out front guy. He's never, been a diva. So he doesn't get any of the press. He just stacks numbers in great seasons back to back to back. There's a lot of guys with lots of catches and yards that aren't in the Hall of Fame. And I think I think Mike and Lavonte are both going to have. It's not going to be as easy as Buccaneer fans think. Let me just put this. I think they're both Hall of Famers, and if Ira Kaufman can keep his magic going because he is a presenter, and Sal Palantonio's come on this show, who was a Pro Bowl voter in that room, and says there's nobody better at presenting players than Ira Kaufman, and that matters. That matters. Presentation matters. And so when Ira goes to bat, if he still has his fastball, JP, if he still has his fastball, then he'll get him in. I think he might, but but to your point, I agree with it. I think it's gonna be a tough one. It'll be kind of, I think it was Lynch and was it Lynch or Rondé went, I think, 8 times before he finally got in. A lot of it's timing too, because almost so many people can go in a year, and there are some years where it's just loaded and some years where it's not. So timing plays a part in this as well. So we'll see. But the bottom line is his legacy here in Tampa Bay will go down. He's a Ring of Honor guy. There's no question about that.
No question.
He'll be going in the Ring of Honor. He'll always be. I think he'll always be mentioned with the greatest defensive players of all time in this era. And he didn't, he didn't play for Dungy. He didn't play on that defense where all of our kind of, except for Selman. Selman's obviously a defensive player that played before that. But, and it's, and that's another accolade for Lavonte. He was playing with a lot of shit around him for a long time. Nobody on the defense, Gerald McCoy, yes, but very little talent on that defense. Very little talent up front. So he had to do so much of it on his own. And, oftentimes, carrying and babysitting Devin White and other linebackers, Servassier Dennis, and having to do that as well, running the defense, all that stuff. So his legacy is going to be one of, incredible dude off the field. And that guy that got every ounce of production out of his body. He's not a big guy. Like you would. If you were walking by Lavonte David in Target, you wouldn't say, oh, there's an NFL football player. You would not. 100% would not. He's 6'1", 225 pounds. Looks like me, but a little bit more muscular and tan. He's not a big guy. But talk about instincts. You talk about guile, intelligence, football IQ off the freaking charts. Toughness. That Miami street toughness, all that in Lavonte David. And,
I think he's the pride of Fort Scott Community College.
I would have to say yes. Yeah, he got no offers coming out. For God's sakes, a Miami kid had to go to Nebraska to play football.
Yeah. After 2 years in community college.
Yeah, I forgot. That's right. Started at Fort Scott.
Yeah.
Yeah, Aviation said only guy with 35 plus take turnovers plus 40 sacks, Ray Lewis, Urlacher, and Lavonte. Yep. These are I want to get all these right, and hopefully, because when you start comparing him to Hall of Famers, he's right there with them or has better numbers.
Yeah.
Better numbers. So 2:00 today, you'll be able to watch that on Buccaneers.com. I'm pretty sure Spectrum will carry it live. Most of the, I think, local TV stations will probably carry it live. Well, maybe the networks won't, but I think Spectrum definitely will. I'll be, if they allow us to live stream, I'll live stream it as well because I'm heading over there after we do the Big O show. So it's going to be fun, and it'll be a great celebration. I'm sure there'll be a lot of people there that will turn out for this, and absolutely worth it. No question about it.
Yep.
Alejandro says Lavonte will be in Hall of Fame because it don't matter if he's first ballot or whatever ballot. And like you said, Timmy, Hall of Famer is a Hall of Famer. I will be at Lavonte's Ring of Honor. Yes, we all will. Yep. Nathan Elliott says Gerald McCoy was good. He was great at hogging the limelight and pushing other solid players away from Tampa. Michael Bennett left because of McCoy. Ouch. I didn't know that. Is that true? I thought we just let him walk out the door. One of the other bad decisions that we made. Bell says all good things and everything must come to an end eventually. Let's just hope the new guys to shine and take this team higher. Yeah, to that point, Aviation says, on a good note, linebacking core is about to go from an F to a B-. Whoever set up the front seven last season should be held accountable. That'd be Todd Bowles. And he wasn't.
All Todd.
Won't be held accountable, clearly. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if we're going from an F to a B-. I think we're overselling the Anzalone Roseboom tandem here. I mean,
by the way, Roseboom, there's no contract terms yet. It was a 1-year deal. We know that. And we do know that last year's 1-year deal with the Panthers was $2.5 million. So I'm guessing right around that.
So probably not really highly in demand.
Well, he's still available as of yesterday when they signed him. So, yeah, March 23rd.
Yeah.
And you think a $2.5 million 1-year linebacker, really, he could go to anybody that wanted him, and he was still available. So that could tell you something.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's now, is he better than Servassier Dennis? Probably. Yeah. I'm trying to read into some of the other. Yeah. So Roseboom ended up starting in all 16 of his outings for Carolina 2025, including their wild card round matchup with his former team, the Rams. Amassed the team leading 122 tackles, 2 sacks, and interception, forced fumble recovery. As you said, he'll join former Panthers defensive lineman Ashawn Robinson. So we're taking the Panthers scraps now is what we're doing. We're taking the old cast-offs from the Panthers. So while the Panthers, and you can say whatever you want about signing Jalen Phillips to all that money. Not a lot of it's guaranteed. But they signed Devin Lloyd, the premier inside linebacker in free agency. And they signed Jalen Phillips, a 28-year-old edge rusher who's had some injury issues but played well in Philadelphia. Certainly you can project that's upside. Like that guy's good. You could make an argument that his best football may still be ahead of him. Right? Now coming off the edge, size, speed, all that. If he stays healthy, like every other freaking player in the league, if he stays healthy, right? And you went and signed Devin Lloyd, 27-year-old inside linebacker, not a 32-year-old inside linebacker like Anzalone. And you cast off Roseboom and Ashawn Robinson, and where do they land here?
I still think it's an upgrade, JP.
Over Servassier?
Both of those guys.
Minimal?
It's still an upgrade.
Yeah, but you're not good. They're not good players. They're not good.
Based on what?
Based on nobody else wanted them. For 2 years, nobody's wanted Roseboom. 1 year, $3.5 million last year. No, nobody wanted him this year, so we take him off. Once Lavonte says, instead of, we were going to go with a 36-year-old player in Lavonte, but since he's not coming back, we're going to go sign this guy who's still on the scrap heap. Listen, come on. I don't like talking like this. I want to be positive, but I'm a realist.
Look, if these are
doing here?
If these are the only moves that the Bucs make at linebacker this offseason, then yes, it is a tremendous fail. I don't mind these guys. And Anzalone's a starter. I don't mind that at all. But these are fill-in. These are depth pieces.
You said
these cannot be your starting
in depth. They're not They're not exciting. The idea here is to go into free agency, make big moves, get your team excited and your fan base excited like the Panthers are doing.
Yeah, that ain't happening.
That ain't happening here.
Not every team can do that.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I just wish they would come out and say, yeah, we're rebuilding.
I don't think they are.
Oh, come on. Come on, dog.
If they're rebuilding, they would have
fired
fired
Lavonte's
Todd
not
Bowles.
coming back. It's why Mike left. Come on. Listen, I don't like doing this, but
You're not rebuilding with a 63-year-old coach.
I got all these.
It's not how it works.
No, you're eating another year of his contract before you fire him because you don't want to pay the money. That's what you're doing.
Yeah, then don't call it
because you're rebuilding. Because you're rebuilding. That's right. Listen, if you're going for it, you go out and get a new coach. You go out and get a legitimate edge rusher, not some rotational piece that got a bunch of sacks. Okay? Because he was on a good team and has been a rotational guy forever in Muhammad. And you go out and sign real guys. That's not what they're doing. They're signing a bunch of guys that you can just fill in the blank.
It's a short-term contract, so they don't have to
they're all
pay
short-term contracts because they're
older.
rebuilding.
Yeah, and they're all
older short-term contracts because they're rebuilding.
Yep.
That's what Mike saw, said, I'm not in. And that's what Lavonte said, and I'm not coming back for that. It's just, it is what it is. And it is, I'm just not going to sugarcoat it. I respect this audience too much to come on here and try to make something out of it. Not that that's what you're doing. I know you're playing devil's advocate, but I'm not doing that. It's just disappointing. I thought they had an option to go the other way.
Well, I'm just trying to figure out what their strategy is. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm not
their rebuild isn't even good. You're not even doing the rebuild right.
Right.
So, but to your point, they're not done. We don't know exactly what the final tally is going to be. So we'll just sit back and it's just a lot of meh.
Yeah.
It's a lot of meh.
Very underwhelming.
Yes. All right. You know what's not underwhelming?
Brian Bradley
and the Tampa Bay Lightning. That's overwhelming. That's overwhelming at this point. So let's check in, head on over to Benchmark International Arena, where the Lightning Hall of Famer is standing by the great Brian Bradley. Look at him, that handsome devil. Special effects we get today. What's up, brother?
What's up there? What's up, bud? How are you today?
Fantastic. I saw you at the Val's bar. I didn't get it. You kept running back and doing laps to the buffet. I couldn't catch up with you.
Yeah.
But
yeah. No, I'm just here at the morning skate right now, JP. And then you know what? It's an optional skate. There's not many guys on the ice right now. JoJo's in net. You know what? There's a few defensemen on the ice. There's only 3 forwards: Sabern, Jurgensen, Gage Gonsalves. Some are defensemen that play, but Radish is on the ice. I think Moser's on the ice. Santini, Littleberg's on the ice, but none of the guys are on the ice today. There's no one on here. But I get it. You know what? Here's the thing: they got to understand. They played, Thursday in Seattle. Then they played, Saturday night in Edmonton, Sunday night in Calgary. We got 7 out of 8 points on the road trip. Monday, we get up Monday morning. We travel at noon Tampa time. We land at probably 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock at night from Calgary. We travel all day on the plane to get home, 5.5 hours. They probably get home to see their kids or wives or girlfriends about, 6 o'clock at night. And then, they got a game tonight. That's a tough turnaround here right now. And playing a Minnesota team that played Saturday night that are well rested. So this is going to be a hell of a game tonight. But you know what? The boys are really coming off a successful road trip. But that's a tough travel schedule coming back right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a really tough ask for them tonight against a really good Minnesota team that kind of last time they played up there, as I recall, that was a pretty dominant win for Minnesota.
Yeah, it was, JP. I think the guys all realize that. I think they beat us 5-1 in Minnesota, but it was a beatdown. I mean, it could have been 7-8-1. I mean, we were not in that game at all. And I think the boys now looking at this thing, they're probably like, hey, you know what? Let's go. We got to be ready to go tonight. We're a veteran team. We know what we need to do. We've had a successful road trip. We got the wheels are back in play. Everybody's driving right now. So let's see what happens. But I mean, Bazzi's, leading the NHL in wins. The team looks good. And then we'll talk about the guy. Oh, my God. I can't say enough about Nikita Kucherov. Crazy. I mean, in November, December, he was like 35th place in scoring, and now he's number 1 with 119 points. I think he's 3 up on Connor McDavid. I mean, unbelievable, the numbers and stats Kucherov's putting on the board right now. Like, it's over the top. I mean, I just think he's just like he's a magician with the puck. And then, if he would have had another 3-point night, he only had 1 in Calgary. He would have had 6, games in a row where he had 3 points or more. It's only been done by 2 other players in the NHL, Wayne Gretzky and Mario Lemieux. When you're talking about Mario Lemieux and Wayne Gretzky, those are iconic guys. That's like Michael Jordan in basketball. And you're putting your name up like Nikita Kucherov with those guys. It's unbelievable to see him with the puck and what he's doing with it. I love watching him play. I mean, I say this all the time. He's a wizard with the puck. He is the greatest Lightning player to ever play for our team. That guy's crazy good.
Yeah, and this is the greatest run we've seen since Mario Lemieux in 95-96, which is saying something. I mean, that is an insane amount of numbers. But yet we still hear, Brian, for the Hart Trophy, Celebrini. I know Kuch is starting to get a little bit more national run, but I mean, let's just make the case for what Kucherov is doing. You watch him every game. He's the greatest winger of this era, in my opinion, in terms of being a playmaker. And I said this the other day on Twitter. I said, if he shot more, he could probably lead the league in goals. And people were like, that would never happen. I'm like, the guy's got a lethal shot. He's got an absolutely lethal shot. He just chooses, I think, to make his team better by getting everybody involved instead of, maybe like an Ovechkin who chooses to just shoot a lot more. And I'm not ripping on Ovechkin. It's just they're different. They're different games. Different games. And I think Kucherov's game lends more towards overall success of the team. Is that fair?
Yeah, no, he's just like he's a gamer. He just loves to play. And, he's got something like 40 or 41 4-point games. That's incredible. I mean, the numbers are over the top good. I mean, it's just like, you can't even imagine, like I said, on the power play with the puck, what he does with the puck, his vision on the ice. I mean, I've never seen a player besides Mario Lemieux and Wayne Gretzky that good. I mean, that's it. I mean, nothing against
short list.
Sakic, Forsberg, Lindros, guys who play with the Lightning, Cavier, Richards, Marty St. Louis, even Stamkos could just shoot the puck. This guy is something special that I'm not sure we'll maybe ever see another player like that in Lightning history, what he does.
So we're getting close to the playoffs here, Brian, and I think it's fair to say that, obviously he's got 2 cups. It speaks for itself. But the first round exits and playing the Panthers and the cheap shots that the Panthers constantly did to Kuch kind of took him out a little bit. At least he wasn't, to the level that we were used to seeing in the regular season. Clearly, that's not going to be – we don't have to face a team that's a bunch of cheap shot artists like the Panthers this year. So I think this kind of works well for the Lightning as they enter the playoffs, and I think this road trip has kind of solidified their playoff standing. I think this could be a huge playoff for the Lightning and Kucherov.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, you know what, JP? We talked about, we have the terrific run of 22-2 or something like that. Then come back from the Olympic break and you were struggling again. Go on this road trip, kind of got our wheels in place right now. Everybody's looking really good. But like I said, there's years you're in it to win it. I mean, picking up Corey Perry. I mean, I love Julian Breezeball. He knows when it's a chance to win it. But I honestly would be disappointed if we don't get to the Stanley Cup Finals. I think this team can go deep. I think it could be us in Colorado in the Stanley Cup Finals. Could be Minnesota, who we're playing tonight. Could be Dallas, the 3 best teams. But I think in the Eastern Conference, I think we're the best team in the Eastern Conference. I really do. Nothing against Carolina. Nothing against Buffalo, Montreal. Some of those teams don't have playoff experience. We have tons of play experience. Some of the teams have good goaltending. We have great goaltending. Some of the teams have not played in the playoffs, and their goalies have not played in the playoffs, like Buffalo, the Montreal. They just don't know what to expect come playoff time. So I love our team. I think we have a chance to go deep. I think we have a chance to win the Stanley Cup for our 4th time in franchise history. And you know what? I think it all starts, we got a 7-game homestand right now coming up. Obviously we play tonight against Minnesota. Then we got Seattle, Ottawa, Stamkos is in, with Nashville. Then next week we got Montreal on Tuesday. So some marquee games coming up in this homestand. We finish it off with the Bruins next Saturday. So I think it's exciting for the Lightning and all their fans to get to see. And we're only 13 games away from the playoffs, boys. It's going to be quick.
Yeah. Brian Bradley joining us here, Lightning Hall of Famer, overall great dude. Hangs out with me watching games, so he should get some type of award for that as well.
That's why I'm a great dude, because I hang with you.
Yeah. You have to be.
Charitable, obviously, very charitable. Talk a little bit about this road trip, because obviously they went into it on a slide and they get 7 out of 8 points. Now, they weren't playing the best teams in the league, but I don't care. That's a hell of a tough roadie, and you can talk to this. Heading out west, back-to-back games, to come back with 7 of 8, pretty damn good. They played a decent Edmonton team, obviously without Draisaitl, but I love what Connor McDavid had to say after the game, basically saying, when my contract's up, I'm coming to Tampa, which is nice. Just talk about that, what McDavid said, and the whole road trip.
I never heard what McDavid said, but that is actually funny. But,
he basically said, man, the Lightning play with such great structure. They have a great strategy. They have the greatest coach. They have, I'm paraphrasing here, but they work their plan. They're disciplined. He couldn't say enough good things about John Cooper and the Lightning.
And then you know what? That comes back to John Cooper and his coaching staff. John, a Hall of Fame coach. It's hard to believe he hasn't won Coach of the Year ever, which is ridiculous. But Olympic gold, silver medalist. He's did everything he's had to do in hockey. Won at every level, junior level, the American Hockey League, the NHL. His record goes on and on. But, at the end of the day, like I said, we've seen Edmonton and seen teams before that they put up numbers on the board, but they just can't. You got to have a goalie in the playoffs. I don't care what anybody says. You have to have a goalie. Like for me, why wouldn't Edmonton go after Bobrovsky? He's on after a 10-year deal. He's a free agent next year. Maybe he'll sign in Florida, maybe not, but pick him up for something and, have a chance to win. I don't see Edmonton even getting out. The 3 teams in the Western Conference, I think are, obviously Colorado's 1. Dallas and Minnesota are 2-3. They're going to play each other in the first round, so somebody's going down. But at the end of the day, you have to have a goalie that has playoff experience, and Vazzy does. I don't care if you score 5 or 6 goals a game. You're gonna give up more if your goalie doesn't make saves. And Vazzy has won 2 Stanley Cups. He's starting to play like old Vazzy. And, I love the way the team's all coming around right now. They've been here before. They know what it takes. You know what? There's no surprise moves for us. Not like Buffalo. All these kids are going to be going into their first Stanley Cup game. Montreal's only been there once in the last 10 years. So we got a lot of unproven performers. Carolina, they got a good team. It'll be interesting, but I still think we're better in Carolina. And time will tell. Like I said, we're going to see what happens. But anytime you have veteran players, that's going to be a big driving factor come the stretch drive.
Brian Bradley joining us here. Go ahead, Timmy, jump in.
Brian, if the playoffs started today, Tampa Bay would be on the road against Les Habitants de Montreal.
We would be? Aren't we
we'd
at
be at
Montreal?
home.
We're at home.
That's not what NHL.com says, but I thought.
We got more points in Montreal. We're like 3 or 4.
Well, you're ahead. I know that they're ahead of Montreal, but for some reason, NHL.com had it backward. I thought that too.
Yeah,
but you're still playing my Habs, and it's a team you guys are all too familiar with. And then we're not going to have, again, if it's today, and I don't see it happening, the Panthers in the playoffs.
They're out.
In a while. So you got a couple of things going for you here as the playoff stretch could start against Montreal. What are your thoughts about that first round series? should it happen.
Well, you know what? Montreal's always going to be a tough team. Marty St. Louis, obviously, he's turned into a pretty good coach, but it's going to come down to goaltending, like we always say. Goaltending, specialty teams. They got Suzuki, they got Caulfield, they got some guys that can play. But I think one of the things that we have that they don't have is they don't have the goaltending. Vasilevsky's outstanding. And then the other thing too is you always talk about guys like this, Kenny and JP, we talk about Kucherov, we talk about Point, we talk about Gensel, we talk about, guys like that, who are going to put pucks in the net. We talk about Hagel, fantastic players. But one of the things that we have that a lot of other teams don't have is you have that shutdown centerman guy. Yeah. And I'm talking about Anthony Cirelli. When we play Montreal in the Stanley Cup playoffs, let me tell you this. Cirelli and Hagel will be going against Caulfield and Suzuki. And you know what? That is something that those teams do not like because Cirelli and Hagel can probably score 2 goals against that line. And when your number one line gets outscored in playoffs, you're in trouble. You're in big time trouble. On the road, they're not going to play against Cirelli because he'll keep them away. But when we're in Tampa, we're playing those top lines, you are going to see Cirelli and him and Hagel are the 2 best in the game at defensive stripping pucks, face-offs. That's why they were on Team Canada because they were so good. Cirelli didn't play, but he was on the team till he got hurt. But at the end of the day, those are defensive players that are awesome at their job. They don't get the accolades like the scoring trophies and the Hart nominations and all the other stuff that goes with it, like Kucherov or Point or Gensel. But you don't win Stanley Cups with those guys that, they will shut down the other line's number one line, and that's how you win Stanley Cups.
Yeah, I love that. And and when we've won cups, Brian, as you pointed out, you get 4 lines going, and they're scoring. And you got the shutdown line, that 4th line that we've had with Gord and Holmberg.
Yeah,
and that has been a tremendous line. And talk about how that plays in the playoffs as well.
Oh yeah, you know what? Like I said, our lines, Yanni Gord, Pontus, and Jurgensen, that third line's been outstanding. They just work hard. They scored a big goal. They chip in once in a while. They're all veteran guys. They know their role. That's the best thing with John Cooper. He knows what these guys can do. Look at our 4th line. That's crazy. Nick Paul, Corey Perry, and
did he mute?
No.
Oh, he must be getting a phone call. He's getting a phone. Carrie's calling him again.
4th line. That 4th line could be as good as some 2nd and 3rd.
Yeah.
No, agreed. Is there somebody calling in?
You guys there?
Yeah, we are. There we are. You muted up a little bit.
Somebody called and I. Yeah.
Tell Carrie to stop calling.
I'm just talking.
Dadgummit.
Yeah, I know. But like I said, that 4th line for Tampa with Corey Perry,
Corey
all
Perry
those guys.
now,
yeah, Corey Perry. You got Bjorkstrand and you got Nick Paul on the 4th line. That's a hell of a 4th line, guys. That could be some 2nd lines on teams, and it could be even some 3rd lines. When you're throwing those guys against 4th line guys, they'll eat them up.
Yeah,
they will eat them up. They will chew up a 4th line if they can't play. Trust me. They will score some goals that line when you don't expect it because those guys know what to do. They're all veteran guys. They've all played the NHL, and they're going to play against weak guys on a 4th line. The coach of the other team is going to be like, this is not a good situation that their 4th line against us.
That's not a good matchup. Yeah, because a lot of times those are younger guys, and these are grown-ass men that know how to play the game. And that forecheck just beats the shit out. Yeah, and Calgary, I forget which goal it was, but Yanni Gord, dadgum, he went in on the forecheck, and they were just freaking relentless. I think that was the tying goal, actually, that got us that point. And those are such huge goals, and it's just a matter of outworking other guys, and it's fun to watch. But tonight, I feel like I'm not expecting much tonight. As you mentioned, Minnesota's been here. They played Saturday night. This is a tough. Always the first game back from a road trip is tough for the home team. So if they can get a point tonight, I will be thrilled. But luckily, this is, we talk about scheduled losses in the NHL a lot of times. Just kind of feels like one of those scheduled losses for the Lightning tonight. But who knows?
Yeah, you never know. Let's see what the Lightning can do. I think they realize, going into Minnesota last 2 weeks ago, they got their asses kicked. Trust me.
Yeah.
It was a 5-1 game. Probably could have been 6-7-1, but they'll be ready to go tonight. And you know what? Let's see if they play like they did on the road trip. They'll be fine. I'm just worried it might take a period to get their skating legs going after traveling all day yesterday. That's a long flight, 5 or 6 hours in the air, and then coming to play today when the team really hasn't traveled much at all. It's Minnesota.
Yeah,
Brian, who was in goal up in Minnesota for that game? Do you remember? Was that a Vasilevsky game?
I think it was Vazzy, and then they might have pulled him. Yeah. I'm not sure, but. Vazzy's played really well. I mean, and you know what? Well, I will say with JoJo played in Calgary on Saturday. I thought JoJo played good in net, Johansson. I mean, they had some really good chances to score. We ended up losing on a fluky goal in overtime, but I thought our goaltending was good. We had some quality chances. I'll tell you, the goalie for Calgary got lucky because we should have beat them like 6 or 7-3.
Yeah, he was good. Cooley was out of his mind.
He was the difference in the game. He made some saves. I don't even know how he got them.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, and they let JoJo hang it. It seems like every time JoJo plays, it's the back end of a back-to-back, and the defense is just awful.
Yeah.
And he gets hung out to dry. It's so bad.
That's the backup goalie in hockey.
Right. That's welcome to the world.
Yeah.
All right, Brads. We'll see you tonight, partner. Appreciate you as always. You're the best.
See you Thursday. Bye, boys.
All right. See you. The great Brian Bradley right there. Alejandro says, how many more wins will it take to clinch a playoff spot? And where do you see us facing in the first round of the playoffs if we make the dance? I mean, it's right now, it's so clumped up. They could go from number 1 seed to out of the playoffs in these last 13 games. I don't think that's going to happen, but it could happen because Buffalo right now is leading the division at 95 points. The Lightning are second at 91, but they got 2 games in hand. So most guys have 11 games left. The Bolts have 13, and they're playing every other day till the end of the season. And I think there's a couple back-to-backs in there as well. Montreal is at 86.
Tied with Boston.
Tied with Boston at 86. The Islanders are right now in the final wild card spot at 85. So the Lightning are just 6 points out of being out of the playoffs. They're also 4 points out of first place with 2 games in hand on Buffalo. So I've never seen such a disparity between the East and the West now.
Great.
Yeah, there's only 3 teams in the West that would even be in the playoffs in the East.
Yeah,
I think with the point totals, it's kind of weird. But right now, they would play. But if they finish second, they would play the wild card. They would probably play the Islanders. No, the number 1 team.
No, the second division winner.
It's 1 versus 8, right? 2 versus 7.
So the way it's set up right now is Tampa Bay and Montreal in the first round. So wherever they line up in the standings, that's what you have in your first round.
Right. Oh, that's right, because they played division. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Tampa, which I'm okay with that.
Right now, you have, as it stands today in the East, it's Buffalo, Boston, Tampa Bay, Montreal, Carolina, New York.
Yeah, we would have home ice over Montreal.
Correct. Yeah, with more points. And then Pittsburgh and Columbus making a run for the playoffs this year after they fired Dean Evison, a former Stars player, and went and hired Rick Bowness, who they had a run of ex-Stars coach too, by the way, who didn't renew his contract because he quit because he didn't want to coach anymore, and he went back to TV for a couple of years, and now he's coaching again. I call BS on that, by the way.
Yeah.
But so I mean, Columbus had a run like 19-1-1, very similar to what the Lightning did here recently, over the course of like mid-February to late March. So they may be surprises if they can hang on, make the playoffs.
I'll just say that I want to see the Lightning beat a good team. Edmonton, who they just beat. They beat Calgary, who's, they're a bottom feeder in the West. They beat Vancouver, another bottom feeder in the West. Seattle out of the playoffs. And then, Edmonton is third in the Pacific. they're okay, but obviously missing some players. So, and Minnesota is really good, and we'll see tonight. Again, this is a tough one for the Lightning. I would like to see them beat a good team tonight. I would, but I also will give them some grace because of that coming off the road trip.
What kind of reception does Martin St. Louis get every time he comes into benchmark?
Great. I mean, it's not like,
like I'm sure the first time he came back, as coach of the Habs, it was a big deal. But now it's so common. Probably it's just not a big deal, right? He's
beloved. There's still a lot of fans that kind of don't like the way he left, and I get that.
Right.
It was ugly. But there were a lot of things going on. So just put it that way.
Yeah, because he left and went and played overseas, right? Somewhere?
No, he went to New York. He went to the Rangers.
Well, he played somewhere in between.
No, I think we traded him to the Rangers, and we got a haul back, which kind of set us up with McDonough and Summer for the Stanley Cup, if I'm remembering this correctly. We're part of the run. That wasn't McDonough, was it?
Was that a Steve Yzerman move?
I think so. So. My recollection is not as good on those days. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back and we'll get to comments. Appreciate you guys hanging in there with us. Again, the somewhat breaking news, Lavonte David, press conference today, likely retiring, almost assuredly retiring. So we will be there for that today at 2:00. We are obviously canonizing him today as one of the greatest Buccaneers of all time. So we'll take your comments on that as well. We'll get into the Rays a little bit. We got some other Buck news to get to, too, with the signing of Roseboom. So we'll do that. I want to thank all of our great advertisers, including the great folks at pitchroofing.com. Get your free estimate from the great folks at Pitch Roofing. They will come on out to your house. They'll tell you how much life you got left on your roof. If you need some repairs or whatever it is, they'll give you a honest quote. They'll inform you and teach you a little bit about the roofing business, what to look out for. So even if you don't select them, you'll be more educated about the process, and they're fine with that because they will stand on their merits and all their great reviews that they get on Google for the folks that use him. I've been out and met those folks, been to their office. Really, really good folks. Pitchroofing.com. Back in 3. Here for Pitch Roofing, one of our new sponsors and the most reliable and honest roofers in the business. They love the Lightning, and Bolts fans be entered to win a pair of premium Mark Club seats with every free roofing estimate from Pitch Roofing. Seats include food and beverages, early access, premium entry, and a backstage tour of Lightning Vision with yours truly. Always get 2 to 3 estimates when replacing your roof, and be sure to include Pitch as one of those roofing companies. With a free estimate from Pitch, they're not trying to hard sell you. They educate you on your roof and the process. Even if you do not choose Pitch Roofing as your roofer, they want to leave you feeling informed, knowing the different materials and manufacturers, and understanding the process and warranties. Very, very important. Pitch is an Owens Corning preferred contract, Better Business Bureau accredited, and My Safe Florida Home approved. That's very important as well. Pitch prides themselves on full transparency and customer first level of service. They also offer financing options, including 0% plans, ensuring a stress-free experience. Call my friends at Pitch Roofing, 727-67-PITCH. That's 727-677-4824, or go to pitchroofing.com.
Pitch Roofing, roofing done right.
As the Rays enjoy being back in their Tropicana Field home this season that was ravaged by Hurricane Milton, Italiano Insurance wants to remind us all how important it is to be properly insured. 40% of you are underinsured. That can mean financial disaster. Let the experienced and friendly agents at Italiano shop your policies for the best price and the right coverage. Italiano saved me over $1,000 on our auto insurance last year, over $500 on our homeowners insurance. They can do the same for you. That's a grand slam. Might as well get a double play by adding flood insurance and business insurance to your portfolio. Costs less than you think, and trust me, you do not want to risk your home or personal wealth. That's a whiff. So step up to the plate and call 813-877-7799 and chat with our all-star agents at Italiano Insurance, or call our Boca Grande office at 941-964-0400. JP here for Riveters, the official sports bar and grill of the JP Peterson Show. We're located just south of Ray J and Steinbrenner Field, so it's a great pre- and post-game spot, and the happy hour is amazing. Monday through Friday, 3 to 7. Check out these specials. $3 Bud Light drafts, $4 domestic bottles, $5 wells, $6 premium wells, $6 cocktails like margaritas. That's unheard of. And the Riveters food is freshly made daily. No freezers. Happy hour food specials include $3.50 tacos and barbecue sliders. $6 you get edamame or chips with the beer cheese, which is amazing. $8 buffalo chicken dip, my favorite. The truffle fries, chili cheese fries, also $8 at happy hour, as well as other specials throughout the week, including Taco Tuesdays, you get $3 tacos, and Wing Wednesdays, 7 o'clock to 1 a.m. in the morning, you get our amazing wings, 5 for $5 and $5 wells and wines. That's a good Wednesday night. So if you're tired of the preppy, overpriced, generic sports bars, come see the amazing, friendly bartenders and staff at Riveters, where customer service really matters. Riveters, just south of where the Rays and Bucs play. We'll see you there. Hey, the Golden Diamond Source wants to be your family jeweler, so don't wait any longer to find that one-of-a-kind perfect engagement ring for that special someone in your life. At the Golden Diamond Source, they can design anything you want personally. The Golden Diamond Source can help you trade in your old broken jewelry and use it towards a new purchase as well. And with gold prices at record high, now is the best time to do it. They only sell natural diamonds at the Golden Diamond Source, so if it's a real love, it should be a real natural diamond. Don't start your relationship with a fake diamond. Bad idea. And with the Golden Diamond Source first-time buyer program, you can learn all about the 4 C's in all the different shapes and styles. And they are able to show you a huge selection of inventory to choose from. And don't forget, 0% financing for up to 5 years. If you finance $5,000, it's only $83 a month. Make sure it's a Golden Diamond Source diamond, 3800 Almerton Road, always online at goldendiamond.com.
It's a love you give only at Golden Diamond Source.
Hey, lots going on at Genesis of Tampa, selling amazing vehicles and doing great things in the community. And March is Gray Bull Rescue Military Appreciation Month. A portion of all vehicle purchases go towards a donation to Gray Bull Rescue, who recently saved dozens of Americans from the cartel violence in Mexico. A great organization. St. Patrick's Day is coming up. Wear green, buy green, save green. Wear green to Genesis of Tampa on St. Patrick's Day, March 17th, for $500 off any vehicle in stock. Buy anything green that's green in color, the cars, SUVs, you get $1,000 off. Also, buy a vehicle between March 14th and 17th, and you'll be entered to win a trip to Ireland on us. How about that? Of course, Genesis vehicles are the best in class for value, technology, luxury. And there's a National Genesis Signature event going on currently to get 1.9% financing. Limitations apply. Whether it's the G70, G80, 90 sedans, or the incredible SUV lineup, take a test drive and see what everyone is talking about. It's special. Genesis of Tampa, 801 East Bears Avenue. Tell them JP sent you.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the great folks at Genesis of Tampa. Yes, I am rolling around in my new GV70. Man, it is an absolute marvel of technology and comfort. Man, I can't tell you. Every time I get into that car, number one, I got to figure something out technologically, but I'll get it down. Like, what is that sound? It's got a lot of sounds.
No.
Like I had groceries in the back yesterday. So I'm getting out of the car and it's like beep, 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 beep. And it says, I'm like, what's that one? It's like check back seat, basically. It said something like that. Worded
That's
better.
like a kid warning. They don't want you to leave your kid in the car.
Yeah. So that's cool, right?
Now you got to have a kid. You got to have another kid so you can use that.
I'm like, oh yeah, I do have groceries in the back. Don't forget to grab those as well. But it's so technologically advanced that I got to get used to a lot of this stuff, quite frankly. But man, the car is absolutely fantastic. You know, when you get a car that you kind of always wanted, you finally get it, man. It's a good feeling. It's a good feeling. And I can't say enough about the experience at Genesis of Tampa. They welcome you in, and it's just, you know, would you like something to drink? Would you like a snack? Would you like this? Would you like that? Like that? I mean, it's fantastic. And then you take it for a test drive, and everybody is so kind and wonderful. And I got a great deal. Got a really great deal, and I felt like it was, you know, very, very honest and straightforward dealing. You know, sometimes you go into places and it just feels really, really slimy. right? Not at Genesis of Tampa. And I've gotten to know a lot of these guys, and they're really, really fun folks. So can't recommend them highly enough. Genesis of Tampa, right there, 801 East Bears Avenue. Go get you a GB70. And I got mine is a 2023. And, man, it's like brand new. They prep these pre-owned cars like it's literally like driving a new car off the lot at a much less cost. So, yeah, it's been fantastic. So go take a look at their pre-owned cars. They'll pay you high. They paid me more for my used car than it's worth. That's for damn sure. So hope they didn't look under the hood too good on that thing, but they may be coming back at me and like, we found a couple. Like, yeah, sorry, deal's done. No, it was great. It was a great experience. Great experience at Genesis of Tampa. Go check them out. Tell them JP sent you.
JP, we have a super chat.
Oh, let's go.
From Kings. Hey, Glazers, the dark days you're avoiding are here.
Yeah, that's Bucs basement, and he's spot on. Ain't no doubt about it. He's got some more. I think this is interesting. He said, ticket rep has been bombarding my phone at least 5 times in the last 2 weeks asking if I'm sure about canceling, and that they'll offer a 30% discount and nicer seats. Tickets must not be selling well. No, there's no. Why would you buy?
Why would they? Yeah.
Why would you buy tickets right now? If you were on the fence about the Buccaneers, what would possibly make Christian Roseboom?
Ooh, I want to go see Roseboom play.
Oh, wait now. Oh, let me call that ticket rep. No, there's nothing that would make me want to go buy tickets. If I was on the fence, what have you done to get me excited? Nothing. No. He said, for the record, I told them to pass this message to the higher-ups when they kept Bowles. That was the end of me financially supporting this team, losing Mike and now Lavonte retiring. Fast forward to 2027, please. Yeah. I mean, these have to be decisions that they know we're going to get this from the fan base.
Yeah.
They're not surprised by this. Poor ticket reps. I can't try to defend this. Look, it's just – like there's a lot of people. We love a lot of people over there at the Bucs, obviously, including Todd Bowles. I root for the guy. He's a really good dude. They're all great people over there. The PR people, Brian Ford, there's nobody over there that I don't personally really like. They're exceptional at their jobs. They really are. But when it comes time to rebuild, it's time to rebuild. And again, I wholeheartedly disagree with this rebuild decision, because I don't think you needed to do it in this division. No. And you have a quarterback. Like, the Baker Mayfield hate. Listen, does he have to play better? Absolutely. But part of the reason he played poorly were the injuries. And I said it during the week. I said, I don't think Baker should be playing this week.
Yep.
Let's get Teddy ready. You remember I said that 2 or 3 times.
Yep.
They had no confidence in Teddy Bridgewater.
Which
they had
is
no
odd
confidence in him.
They handpicked him to be the backup last year. So that's another missed opportunity from the front office.
Yep.
Missing on a player.
Yeah. You got rid of Kyle Trask, which I had no beef with that at all. He had a terrible training camp and was regressing. Clearly, Grizzard and he did not look – they weren't on the same page.
No.
So I was all for bringing in somebody. And I thought Teddy was a good pickup. He
had a history with Grizzard.
Yeah, and he paid, and I don't know, maybe they couldn't get him ready. Maybe it was just the offensive line was just so freaking bad. There wasn't much you can do. But those 2 guards were terrible. They were terrible. And frankly, there's not much you can do. Not only 2 guards were terrible, Gedeke missed time, Wirfs missed time. That whole offensive line was shambles for most of the season. And that's going to affect you in a lot of different ways. But, they needed a better backup quarterback, which I think they have now, if you don't only get rid of his girlfriend, fiance. Sorry. She's just really annoying. I would say go check out her Instagram, but only if you really want to be annoyed. But I think he had some great numbers with the Bengals when he filled in for Burrow. So, I think they've upgraded there. And so if Baker does get hurt, let's go to the next guy and get some better quarterback play.
And don't let him play hurt. That's
the
key here.
Yeah, and that's on Bowles. That's on the organization. It's like you got to be able to look at him in practice and say, instead of saying, okay, let's see if we can get through this game. Let's say, let's hand it over to Browning and see what he can do. And let's get him ready to go. That's what good organizations do. You don't put a quarterback out there that's about 50%, which I think Baker was. It may be less. I think it was 3 games in a row. He didn't run at all.
No.
Because he couldn't run. I mean, if he can't run, get him off the freaking field.
That's part of his game.
Yeah, it's a huge part of his game. It's a huge part of his game. And not necessarily running for yardage, but those were key. Huge. Even at the end of the season, he was doing it really well. When he got healthy again, or healthier, I should say.
Yeah.
So, but my point is, Baker's a good enough quarterback. And in this division, my battle plan this offseason would have been more like the Panthers. Go sign Devin Lloyd, go sign Jalen Phillips, and go to the draft and get another linebacker and another edge rusher. And then stick with your offense. If you want to see another year Baker, that's fine. I would have extended him, because what you're saying now is we're going to go into 27 draft and get our guy, because there's a lot of good talent there. But I'm done chasing rookie quarterbacks. I'm done with it. It's futile, because number one, you sign them, and then hopefully you pick the right guy. And clearly the Bucs have not been able to do that in the history of the franchise. The only ones they picked that were good, you got away and got better. So chasing, you guys hate Baker. Yeah. How about another 5 years of Jameis Winston? You have I don't care how good these guys play in college. You don't know how it's going to work out in the pros. You could have spent time and energy and money, Glazers, beefing up this roster like the Panthers did theirs, and you got a better quarterback than they do in Baker Mayfield. And I'm telling you, had you done that, Mike Evans would have taken less money to stay. So you could have Devin Lloyd, Jalen Phillips, and Mike Evans. Hell, even maybe Lavonte would have stuck around. Not that he should or would, but you'd already had his replacement at Devin Lloyd. You could have drafted another inside linebacker in the second round. There's some really good ones. Get another edge rusher in the first round. So now you got, a Jalen Phillips, a Devin Lloyd. You draft another edge rusher. You draft another linebacker. And you've got Mike would probably stick around because you're going for it. The whole fan base is enthused and ready to go, and let's go. But instead, you chose this crap. Well, we didn't have the salary cap money to do it. Yeah, you did. You could have figured it out. You didn't want to. And you've chosen this rebuild because Baker didn't play well at the end of the season, blah, blah. He's behind a subpar offensive line, and he's beat up. When he was good, he led the league in touchdown passes for 2 years in aggregate. He's not the best quarterback in the league, but if Sam Darnold can win a Super Bowl, so can Baker Mayfield. And you want to go chase a rookie quarterback in the 27 draft? How long is it going to take to get him good if you pick the right one? And then you still got to build around him.
Well, and this is the problem I have with that philosophy, is if you are truly tanking in 2026 to get your quarterback for 2027,
right?
I don't even think you're doing that right, because if
you're not.
If you want one of the top quarterbacks, Julian Sand, Dante Moore, Arch Manning, CJ Carr, Lenore Sellers, whoever you want in there, Byron Brown, you're telling me that you think the 2026 team is going to be bad enough to pick one of these guys in the top 10. I don't think this roster is going to be bad enough for a top 10 pick.
No, especially in this division.
Right. So you're kind of screwing yourself there.
Yeah, and you're keeping and if you're going to rebuild, totally trade Vita Vea.
Yeah, do it the right way. And
you could get at least a one for him.
Truly tank for Arch Manning.
Yes.
Or whoever it is you think is your quarterback of the future.
If you're going to rebuild. Like this half-ass stuff is pointless. It's pointless. And this is not either rebuild or, but again, and I've said this many times, hey, sorry to repeat myself, but you should only rebuild when you have to rebuild. And you don't have to rebuild in this division.
No.
Not now, not with Baker Mayfield. By the way, have we heard from Baker? Nope. Because you know why? Because he's pissed.
It's not what he signed up for.
This is not what he signed up for. No, he was hoping to get an extension here. He was hoping that they would do what I just said. And they had every opportunity to do it. They just chose not to. And that's BS in my opinion. That's not the route I would have gone down. I just gave you a game plan. You know, could they have gotten Devin Lloyd and Jalen Phillips? Hell yeah. You think they'd rather go to Carolina than here? No. They'd rather come here. Lloyd was 3 years, 45? Not that much. I mean, you could have done that.
Yeah, way less than I thought he was going to get, by the way.
Yeah, Jalen Phillips deal was a little bit ridiculous, but, you know, I'd rather be the fan of that team than the fan of the Bucs. You'd rather have Jalen Phillips or Muhammad? I mean, come on. What are we even talking about here? It's sad to say, but that's where we're at. You know. Alejandro says, Will, JP, with the signing the Bucs did yesterday for Roseboom was bad, and he actually had a decent season with the Panthers. I know these moves are made, but our linebacker room looks a little better. It looks a little bit better.
It needs to be a lot better.
Yeah. So, okay, we're a little bit better.
And that's what I'm saying.
The Panthers got a hell of a lot better.
You're making moves that you're not going to have a top 10 pick.
Yeah.
If you really were going to do this, go get the absolute bottom of the scrap heap linebackers to come, because these guys aren't those guys.
Yeah, but Todd Bowles will make them better. They develop players really well here, or they don't. Yes, let's see here. Tell Bowles gone. We're not supporting you, says Bucs Skull Game. I get it. Aviation says, I'm a glass half full type of guy. When do we start analyzing the roster that Todd has to work with? I often hear people say, the Niners fight through injuries. Yes, but the Niners also wouldn't have Braswell, Dennis, or Reddick anywhere near their roster. Jason had the worst front seven in football, worst O-line in football the previous three. I wouldn't say that.
I don't know about that.
But the worst, the front seven was awful. I don't know about everybody else's, but ours was terrible. You know, with Cansey healthy and Vita Vea up front, it's a different story. And I think Yaya's a good player. But just the way it worked out last year was awful. And yes, Jason Light has to, well, first of all, he has to own whatever this is in the offseason. Like, I love Jason, but whatever this is I just can't believe this is something that Jason was like, this is my plan. I'm going to go get a bunch of older journeyman players and plug them in for a little bit of money. I can't.
No, and I think his silence is indicative of that. If this is his plan and his brainchild, he would be way more vocal promoting that plan and telling everybody what's going on. But
I agree.
If you're forced into moves from your bosses and your owners and you're not on board with it, then why would you talk about it? And to me, that's what's happening.
Yeah, and I wasn't there at the sit down, but he got the beat writers together, the guys that hang out over there that don't cover other sports like I do. And had a kind of a sit down with everybody instead of, calling a press conference and talking about it. And today, I'm sure Jason will be there and Todd and the owners and everybody will be there like they should, but this is not a time to talk about that. This is Lavonte's time. So I'm not going to be asking questions about what is this rebuild. Aviation says, I don't think people, including myself, realize how well of a job Spytech did. Well, until Spytech does something with the Raiders, I don't think we can say that. But I think he had an impact. There's no question. He
certainly had an influence. Yeah.
Do we just totally scrub everything Jason's done? No, absolutely not. Forget about that. Spytech hasn't done anything yet except secure the number one pick. And if that was his goal, congratulations.
And boom. Yeah, you did it.
And also tried to pawn off an injured Max Crosby on the Ravens. Actually, I think the Ravens got cold feet on that. I don't think.
Yeah, I do too.
I think Max Crosby's going to be fine this year. And I think he's still in play too. If you want to go make a move, Bucks.
Well, he doesn't want to play in Las Vegas.
No, he doesn't.
That ship has sailed. And he's not doing his club any favors by being vocal about that either, because he's taking away all of their leverage.
Captain K says, with the signing set the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have made, it almost feels like they did blow it up. Not all the way.
No, they did.
Oh, I mean, again, you've got assets that look at the Dolphins. They're trading everything away. That's how you rebuild. You trade it all away. You get rid of Waddle. You get rid of Tyreek Hill. You get rid of Tua. You get rid of everybody. You know, you could have traded Baker this offseason for a lot. If you're rebuilding, if you're going to get a new quarterback, you could have got a one for Baker, probably. I think there's a team out there that sees Sam Darnold in that feels like they're a quarterback away. Maybe it's Pittsburgh. I don't know who it is. But you could have got something for Baker, 100%.
Yeah. You
could have got something. You could have got a lot for Vita Vea. You could get something from Antoine Winfield. That's how you blow it up. I'm not saying that's what I would have done, but that's if you're going to blow it up, blow it up. Don't piecemeal this crap, because by the time you're good again, Vita Vea is going to be 35 years old, and you got nothing for him. That's the way you're going now. That's why this none of this makes sense. It's a half-ass approach to rebuilding. And that's not the way you rebuild. You tear it all down and get draft picks and start over. You know, staying competitive, like who are you fooling? I don't know. I think Buck fans are way too smart for that. Rick says, is JP interviewing for the USF basketball coaching job? He was a three-point master in fourth grade. Well, you are correct. I was shooting threes before there were threes. You know, I'm going to brag a little. I was an all-pro at every sport in elementary school. It's true. 100%. I peaked in fifth grade.
Man, you and me both.
The USF thing, I made a really, I think I did a real, we've spent a lot of time on it yesterday, and so I don't want to get too much into it today, but I'll just say this. USF is in a better spot, thanks to Brian Hodgson and Alex Golish, and they just keep climbing and keep building. That's all you can do. Right now, this is the situation you're in. You're going to be a stepping stone program right now. But if you keep getting the right guys and keep creating the atmosphere, you know, I heard Calipari say this yesterday. He said, coaches don't win national championships, programs do. And he's 100% right. It's just like ownership in pro sports. The most important things in pro sports are ownership, and ownership. They set the tone. They give you the resources. They put together and hire the people that put together the plan. It starts at the top. Right? And right now, USF is doing things they've never done before. Never done before. So, and this is why when Rob and Brian Hartline and whoever the new basketball coach says this ain't the same old South Florida, that's fact. That is factual. There is support from administration. Hell, they're building an on-campus football stadium. They're supporting their sports with NIL, but they need more. But they're doing the revenue sharing, which a lot of schools in their size are not doing. So there's more to do. But Brian Hodgson and Alex Golish, and how much you guys hate them, I get it. They are, they left this place better than they found it. And that's due to them, but it's also due to the administration, what the administration is doing and what they're giving their coaches to work with. So as long as your program continues to build and is strong, and under Rob Higgins, I think you've got a tremendous leader that's not going to take no for an answer. That dude just is all gas, no brakes. I mean, sometimes it might look like you're going down a mountain road, all gas, no brakes, and that's not a good thing. But yeah, eventually you're going to get there.
Well, right? And if you're a USF fan, you got to love how visible he is, literally in everywhere with the programs and with the university.
He needs to sleep more. I've told him that. You need to get some sleep, buddy. No, but I just, again, with Hodgson, good luck, Brian. Did a tremendous job here. I know there's people still angry about it and angry about the situation, but just listen. Thank you very much. Appreciate what you did. Appreciate you elevating this program. Now we're going to go find another Brian Hodgson, and we're going to keep stacking until we get to a P4, P2 situation, whatever it's going to be, because USF is going to do that. And that's when you can say, okay, this is no longer a stepping stone situation.
It's a destination.
It's a destination. and you're not there yet, but you're moving in the right direction rapidly. And that's great. That's good. That's fine. And that's where it should be. Now, denying that, it can be just kind of self-frustrating. You don't need to do that. Just, like, oh, who's next? We got, and when Golish left, everybody was bitching and moaning. And then you got Brian Hartline.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, okay, get the hell out of here, Golish. Right?
See ya.
You can do the same thing with the basketball program. Because now they're going to, when the USF comes calling, they'll be like, oh, yeah, they got something going on there. Let me go check that out. And then when they get here, they're like, oh, shit, yeah, let's go. So now you're not quite the destination for the A-list coaches yet, but you're a destination for the B-list, which will soon be A-list. The up-and-comers want to come here. That wasn't always the case. Nobody wanted to come here because it was tough. And it still is a tough job. Don't get me wrong. It's the place for basketball in Tampa Bay, no doubt about that. But unfortunately, we have 4 pro teams, and actually 5 pro teams. We have 2 pro soccer teams, and you have Major League Baseball, and the Rays were moving to Tampa. More on that in a minute. And the Lightning, and that NFL team as well. That's not something Providence has to deal with. They can put all $10 million into the basketball program. And they're in a P5 program in the Big East. Nobody's staying at USF in the current situation when that's the alternative. It's not happening, even if it's 1 year or whatever. So don't waste any energy. I know Rob Higgins isn't. Any negative energy on, woe is me. It's like, thank you. Thank you for doing what we hired you to do. Good luck. Appreciate you leaving it better than you found it. And now let's go find another one. Things are good at USF. Don't be tricked into feeling sorry for yourself. Nobody needs a pity party over there. It's let's get going. Let's get going. And I can guarantee you that's what's going on with their leadership. Ain't Derek Brooks and Rob Higgins walking in the office today going, oh, shit, we lost another one. Oh, shit, this sucks.
They're not sweating it.
No, they're not. They're like, who's next? This will be fun. Let's go get somebody. Let's go knock their socks off with another Brian Hartline. He was the top candidate out there. You got him over some really good places. You don't waste any of that negative energy. Rick says, will Todd do a walkthrough with Lavonte before the press conference? That's so wrong.
That's funny.
So wrong, but so right. Brian Gilbert, what's up, my man? It's Brian from the Rough Riders Parade. Can you give a shout out to Furman Chevrolet? Well, now, Genesis of Tampa is an advertiser here, Brian, but I will thank you very much for your ride in the Hummer EV, and I really appreciate you. You were awesome. Even though you made us feel terrible about not hosting the Generals. I joke. So Brian was our driver in the Rough Riders Parade for me and my daughters. We threw out the beads and all this stuff. And thanks again for them honoring me. It's like unbelievable. But the other honorees were Titus, who's the Grand Marshal, and then General Fenton. Is it Fenton? Fenton or Fenton? I'm sorry, names escape me. But anyway, very important dude. Like very important dude. Way more important than me. And Brian was hoping to drive them around to the parade and get to know them. Instead, he got us. So I apologize for that. But
don't apologize.
Of course I do. I apologize for that. You get an opportunity missed for him. So, but he was very nice, very nice. And Furman Chevrolet sells those Hummers, and those are really nice cars too. But I like my Genesis. I could afford that one.
Yeah,
and it's awesome. Yeah. I hear those Hummers are a bit of a problem. So anyway, they expensive.
Wow.
Going
scorched earth in your shout out here.
No, I bet come on. I'm my Genesis of Tampa. They're my people. What am I supposed to say? Come on, Brian.
I get it.
I work with them and for them. So thank you very much. It was awesome. I really appreciate it. The ride those Hummers are beautiful. They're incredible cars. They really are amazing. I can't afford them. I can afford the GV70, and I love it. Absolutely love it. So there you go. You got to have loyalty. What else we got here? Bell says all good things and everything must come. Oh, we already did one. Thanks for picking that one. Lavonte will be a Hall of Famer, says Alejandro. It don't matter if he's first ballot or whatever. I think I already did that one too. For the people who are just joining us.
We're reviewing is what we're doing here. So
yes.
The best comments of the day.
It's an interesting one from Michael LaRussa. Lavonte didn't make more Pro Bowls because he was going up against 3-4 outside linebackers. Votes went to edge guys with sacks and not true outside linebackers. He moved to inside when Bowles arrived. That's a great point. And I think it's something that Ira will be bringing up in the room for the Hall of Fame, because a lot of times if you're not putting him in because of Pro Bowl selection, that's dumb. That's dumb. It's just dumb. All right, we'll take another break. Come back on the other side. Talk about some Rays on the field as we're getting close to that. Opening day is Thursday. 2 days away. How about that? And we are brought to you by the great folks. There, I'm back. The other camera.
Yep.
We're back to you by the great folks. Third Generation Plumbing. And they also do AC. American Standard Heating and Cooling are their partners. So those are the best units, the most efficient units, and the most durable units in this Florida heat. American Standard Heating and Cooling. And Third Generation Plumbing, the dynamic duo for your HVAC needs. Just go to the website, thirdgenerationplumbing.com. They got the maintenance special still going on. $169 gets you 2 visits. Well, they will top off your fluids, check and make sure everything's working right, so you don't get that emergency call and that emergency expense during the summer. thirdgenerationplumbing.com. Back in 3. Well, the folks at Third Generation Plumbing and AC want to say thanks for making them so dadgum busy. Of course, advertising on your favorite Tampa Bay sports talk show helps, but it's their incredible customer service, honesty, and integrity that have earned them tons of 5-star reviews. And now you could be part of the team at Third Generation. Yes, they are so slammed, they need to hire more certified AC technicians and plumbers. It's a great family business to work for. My buddy John Rodriguez runs an old school family business since 1995. They pay well, give you all the holidays off, and they offer great benefits. No cold corporate atmosphere here. You're part of the family. If this sounds cool to you, call them and apply at 813-961-8024, or you can email your resume in at thirdgenerationplumbing.com. Just go to the website, you'll see the button, email them, or call them at 813-961-8024. And don't forget about the $169 yearly maintenance special. It's a no-brainer, guys. thirdgenerationplumbing.com, and they also do AC.
Ciao, Paolo Tini here, owner of Caffè Paradiso, voted number 3 People's Choice Award on Open Table. I want to thank all our loyal family of customers that have been enjoying our great traditional Italian dishes we make from scratch every day. It's a great family story we're proud of. Our family moved from Rimini, Italy in 1984. My dad, Caesar, started Donatello, and that's where I got the start in the restaurant business. I started Caffè Paradiso on South McDill in 1995, and we've been there ever since. From our traditional ossobuco, a veal slow roast for 4 hours, to our daily fresh catch, the Gruppo Paradiso, with a piccata sauce and lobster claw meat, homemade pasta like lasagna, farfalle salchicha, which is a bow tie pasta homemade with fresh sausage. Hold on a minute, JP's favorite.
I love it.
So come and have a glass of wine with me on South McDill. Get a reservation on Open Table and see all our 5-star reviews. Ciao, see you soon at Paradiso.
Welcome to Kingmakers, home of the JP Peterson Show studio and Tampa's premier business networking and social club for members only. By day, it's an exclusive, vibrant co-working space with a stylish conference room, focus rooms, a full production studio, and an in-house marketing team. And by night, Kingmakers transforms into a sports-centric social hub with a full sports bar, golf simulator, and exclusive events. For young entrepreneurs and seasoned professionals, it's the perfect place to work hard, play hard, and make big moves in Midtown Tampa. Close the deal, celebrate the win. Only at Kingmakers. Become a member today at kingmakerstampa.com. Your business, your club.
Sports fans, it's time to gear up. Head to fanstreamsports.com and check out our brand new merchandise store. We're talking bold t-shirts, 3/4 zips, hoodies, hats, mugs, and more. Everything you need to rep your favorite shows and your favorite crew. Whether you're rolling with the JP Peterson Show in Tampa Bay, From the Rough in Dallas, the Timm Show featuring Clay Hall, or the Jeff Thidoff Show in Ohio, or any of our FanStream Sports original programming, we've got the perfect look for game day and every day. So don't wait. FanStreamSports.com. Click merch and grab your gear now. Wear the stream, live the stream. FanStreamSports.com.
Hey, JP here for my concierge medical professional, Chris Lugo, PA. You've heard him on the show for a couple of years where he shares invaluable medical, nutritional, and supplement advice. With Chris, it's like having a medical provider as your best friend. What I love about this concierge service is the convenience and support he offers. I can text or call him 24/7 with any questions or concerns, and he'll promptly call in a prescription if needed. No office visits or copays required. It gives me peace of mind knowing I have someone genuinely invested in my health, not just focused on insurance profits. And the best part, the Bay Area Modern Medical Center's personal concierge service is more affordable than you might think. Don't let insurance companies dictate your health care. Take control of your health and wellness today. Visit BAMMC.com for more information and to schedule your initial free consultation. Empower yourself and take charge of your personal health with BAMMC.com.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show as we roll on here on this Tuesday of Lavonte David likely retiring. We're brought to you by the great folks at the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Omerton Road. And great folks over there. If you're looking to pop the question, you know what to do. Go to the Gold and Diamond Source. Great staff. They have the best prices, the biggest selection, all kinds of great things going on over at the Gold and Diamond Source. If you're looking for a pre-owned watch, a Rolex watch, they have a new men's section there, extended men's section. And they've got some great choices in Rolex watches, all types of men's jewelry as well. So check it out at the Gold and Diamond Source. Couple of things. First of all, I was reading in the break the Rick Stroud article on Times, basically saying that franchise icon Lavonte David will address his Bucs future today. He will say whether he will retire or return for a 15th season. So I don't think you'd have a press conference if you were going to come back for one last year, would you?
He didn't do that last year.
No. So
They just put out a press release, right?
yeah.
Unless he's just bored and he needed something to do this morning.
Yeah, I would be shocked if he was coming back, especially since they signed Roseboom yesterday.
Yeah.
I think they're just out of respect. They're not. They want him to say it. So that's fine. That's fine. Get that. Absolutely. Totally understand that. We had a report here that Ryan Pepio was going on the injured list, and another one of our listeners says that's not true. I have not been able to see that anywhere because I do not want to hear that. Do not want to hear that whatsoever. So if you've seen that, if it's, if Tompkins tweeted that out, I don't think he has. So that's, it's every year for the past 3 or 4 years, we've heard that from Shane. Somebody, one of the top pitchers goes on the DL.
JP, I'm seeing from per Mark Topkin of the Tampa Bay Times, the Rays will place right-hander Ryan Pepio on the 15-day injured list due to inflammation in his right hip.
God damn it.
He's not expected to be out long with Pepio sideline.
We've heard that a million times from the Rays.
Joe Boyle's coming back.
We have heard that so many times from the Rays.
So Boyle's going to have a spot on the rotation to start the season.
Which is fine. He ain't Ryan Pepio, though. Yeah. He ain't Ryan Pepio. We expected Ryan to be a big, big part of this rotation and get 32 starts, and right hip inflammation turns into torn labrum, turns into 6 months, turns into doesn't even pitch this year. We've had a lot of that with the Rays. It's always the first, I don't know if they've I think all the baseball operations have stayed the same. So I'm guessing their medical group is all, and sports science is all the same. That's not good. That is not good. Because again, it's never what we originally say it is. It's always much worse. It always ends up being, not always, but 90% of the time, it's much worse. So that's not cool. Not cool. Well, the Rays did get a look at the new turf yesterday. All the infielders that got to go over there and check out the new turf, and we've seen the new outfield boards look really, really cool. I don't know if you've seen some of the pictures of that. That looks really cool. The whole place looks better. We're still waiting for the roof to. Some of the panels are colored and some of them are white, so it looks like a circus tent, which is not good.
And that kind of what it is.
Yeah, it kind of is, but we don't need a outward reflection that obvious, please. That's not good. Yeah, so that looks good. The roof and the new turf, the whole place looks new and hopefully smells better and all that good stuff. So what they've been able to do, honestly, in this offseason is a miracle. So the tip of the cap to the city of St. Petersburg and the Rays for being able to get all this done. So, yeah, the infielders did a drill where they looked down as the pop-ups were hit, then had to quickly look up to find the ball against the white roof, which still has some tan spots from the manufacturing process that will naturally bleach white. The early morning workout, especially given a number of players with little or no experience playing under the tilted roof, were definitely worthwhile. Yeah, they got to get in there because they leave on a road trip. Oh, it is an 11-day road trip to start the season. And then they don't come back till April 6th against the Cubs. So they're not going to have a whole lot of, it's going to be new to them. The turf and everything won't be a home field advantage, so to speak. So that's not good. All right. As we mentioned, the Rays have scheduled 2 more community engagement and listening sessions. They were going to be Wednesday at the Press Box Sports Bar from 6:30 to 8. That'll be fun right there on Dale Mabry. And then April 2nd, 6:30 to 8 at Robinson High School. So some more South Tampa spots. This is from the Times. The conversations we've had across Hillsborough County have been incredibly productive and insightful, and they continue to reinforce the strength of this community, said Ken Babby in a news release. Each session gives us a better understanding of how we can create a forever home that is rooted in collaboration and partnership with our community. As we move forward, our focus remains on building something that reflects those priorities and creates a lasting impact for Tampa Bay. Yeah. By the way, Yandy went 4 for 4 yesterday. He wants to play. New infielder Ben Williamson hit his team high 3rd spring homer. Well, he's had a really good spring. They beat the Phillies yesterday 7-0. Chandler Simpson dropped a perfectly executed bunt for a hit in the 6th. Love that. Love him adding that to his game. Cash said they expect to see that often from him and others. This is why Yandy's 4 for 4. That's great. Because guess what? Every time Yandy gets a hit, that should be a run. Not every time, but Chandler's getting on. So his on base percentage last year, I think, was in the 340s, 350s, and he hit 300. I mean, he's easily could get that on base over 4, which would be unbelievable. And if he gets on base 40% of the time, and Yandy's batting in the 2-hole, hitting, 320, 330, he's going to, you're talking about 70, 80 stolen bases. That turns into 120, 140 runs. These are elite numbers. And that's an advantage that the Rays have to cultivate. Like, it's one of the few advantages that they have. They don't have the big boppers, or a lot of them, like other teams have. So you got to get them with speed and base running and contact. That's where they hope to score runs. And the essence of that is a guy at the top of the lineup that can run like Chandler Simpson, like nobody else in the game. Nobody can run like this guy. Nobody. And nobody can combine average and speed like this guy. He's one of one in the league. So to not get him in at the top of the lineup and as many at-bats as possible, Yandy is not a leadoff guy. He's not.
You're going to have to win with small ball this year.
Right. Yeah, you got to be good at it. That contact play's got to go away.
Which means Kevin Cash has to be good at it.
That's right.
Because it is an art form.
All right, back to your comments here today. Aviation says another fault on whoever's building this roster was having Teddy B as our backup. Maybe cost the Bucs a game or two in the macro. I agree. Rick says, I guess Teddy couldn't even do a walkthrough well. Probably couldn't get his helmet over his head.
He's back in Detroit now.
Chris Cole says the Glazers are the reason we are losing players. They used to be the reason that we were getting players. Again, John Hill says, again, Jason Light is the GM of this shit show. Yes, he is. He's got to take responsibility. That's how it works. That's how the job works. Nathan says, the Bucs still need another defensive tackle. Stop screaming for an edge rusher. We need both.
We need both.
Nathan.
Yeah.
We need both, buddy. We got Ashawn Robinson. Don't say anything bad about him. He will kick your ass. Alejandro says, crazy to think the Panthers had both Baker and Super Bowl champion Sam Darnold at the same time. The Panthers honestly lucked out that the Bucs did fall out toward the end of the end, and now because of it. Think about this. If they had a coach, because that was Matt Rule at the time when they had Baker and Sam Darnold, and then think of all the assets that they wasted to go get Bryce Young. I mean, they gave up, 3-4 picks to get him? I mean, that was really dumb. Really dumb. Think of what they could have done with that. It's just great that the organizations in the NFC South have been so bad. I mean, they're just so bad. And we've taken advantage of it to win one Super Bowl and a couple of division titles, 3 divisions, but could be better. Alejandro says Baker's going to be the Rams quarterback once Matt Stafford retires after the season. The Rams and Steelers are the only games I'm going to see next season because I want to see Stafford and Rodgers. Yeah. Chris Cole said trade Wirfs, Big Luke, AWJ, and Vea. I mean, what a haul you could get just for Tristan Wirfs. Tristan's young enough and can play long enough that he might be, in Luke too, that they could play through a rebuild. I mean, because if you do it like the Broncos, it's only a couple of years away, and those guys will in their bookends. Those two guys I would keep. Everybody else I would trade. If I was doing the rebuild, I would keep my 2 bookend tackles. Everybody else would go. I mean, unless they're going to be around for 3+ years, you got to go. But again, I wouldn't do that. I would keep all those guys. And I would have rebuilt. I mean, it wasn't a rebuild. I would have just continued to grow like the Panthers are doing. Joel Forsling, good morning to you. Said Todd has been here since 2019. If you think he's not in the discussions of who to draft sign, then you're clueless. The roster sucks because Todd and his staff can't develop players. All right. Yeah. All right. The big man is here.
By the way, for whoever, I didn't see who that was that talked about wanting to go see this. Was that Alejandro that wanted to go see the Rodgers and the Steelers? I wouldn't buy those tickets quite yet, Alejandro. There's no assurance that Aaron Rodgers is going to be with the Steelers this year.
Yeah, true.
And I would say it's more likely that he's not.
As
fun as the McCarthy and Rodgers reunion would be,
Hey, let's take one more break. We'll come back on the other side. Big O is here, and we will talk a little Rays baseball. Breaking news: Ryan Pepio to the injured list. Golly. Yeah, you did. All right, quick break. Back in 3 with the Big O. As the Rays enjoy being back in their Tropicana Field home this season that was ravaged by Hurricane Milton, Italiano Insurance wants to remind us all how important it is to be properly insured. 40% of you are underinsured. That can mean financial disaster. Let the experienced and friendly agents at Italiano shop your policies for the best price and the right coverage. Italiano saved me over $1,000 on our auto insurance last year, over $500 on our homeowners insurance. They can do the same for you. That's a grand slam. Might as well get a double play by adding flood insurance and business insurance to your portfolio. Costs less than you think, and trust me, you do not want to risk your home or personal wealth. That's a whiff. So step up to the plate and call 813-877-7799 and chat with our all-star agents at Italiano Insurance, or call our Boca Grande office at 941-964-0400. Hey, lots going on at Genesis of Tampa, selling amazing vehicles and doing great things in the community. And March is Gray Bull Rescue Military Appreciation Month. A portion of all vehicle purchases go towards a donation to Gray Bull Rescue, who recently saved dozens of Americans from the cartel violence in Mexico. A great organization. St. Patrick's Day is coming up. Wear green, buy green, save green. Wear green to Genesis of Tampa on St. Patrick's Day, March 17th, for $500 off any vehicle in stock. Buy anything green, that's green in color, the cars, SUVs, you get $1,000 off. Also, buy a vehicle between March 14th and 17th, and you'll be entered to win a trip to Ireland on us. How about that? Of course, Genesis vehicles are the best in class for value, technology, luxury. And there's a National Genesis Signature event going on currently to get 1.9% financing. Limitations apply. Whether it's the G70, G80, 90 sedans, or the incredible SUV lineup, take a test drive and see what everyone is talking about. It's special. Genesis of Tampa, 801 East Bears Avenue. Tell them JP sent you. Hey, the Golden Diamond Source wants to be your family jeweler, so don't wait any longer to find that one-of-a-kind perfect engagement ring for that special someone in your life. At the Golden Diamond Source, they can design anything you want personally. The Golden Diamond Source can help you trade in your old broken jewelry and use it towards a new purchase as well. And with gold prices at record high, now is the best time to do it. They only sell natural diamonds at the Golden Diamond Source, so if it's a real love, it should be a real natural diamond. Don't start your relationship with a fake diamond. Bad idea. And with the Golden Diamond Source first-time buyer program, you can learn all about the 4 C's in all the different shapes and styles. And they are able to show you a huge selection of inventory to choose from. And don't forget, 0% financing for up to 5 years. If you finance $5,000, it's only $83 a month. Make sure it's a Golden Diamond Source diamond, 3800 Almerton Road, always online at goldendiamond.com.
It's a love you give only at Golden Diamond Source.
JP here for Riveters, our new official sports bar and grill of the JP Peterson Show. And just like our show, no BS, no corporate chain feel, just amazing, authentic folks serving great comfort food in a casual atmosphere at unheard of prices. Riveters is located just south of Raymond James and Steinbrenner Field on Dale Mabry, walking distance to the park, so free parking, great place for pregame and postgame. Let's talk about fresh food. Nothing is frozen. Burgers, wings, prime rib, roasted fresh daily, never frozen. That makes a huge difference. The mahi, the salmon, also super fresh. All our sauces are original recipes made in-house. Our Warhawk chili and fully loaded potato soup is made fresh in-house. It's the best food anywhere, served by people who actually care. Riveters on Dale Mabry, just north of 275, just south of where the Bucs and Rays play. We'll see you there.
Sunshine State, where the storms roll in. Gotta keep your roof strong and never give in. From hurricane winds to that summer heat, Pitch Roofing's here and they're hard to beat. From shingles to metal, they got the skill, fixing up your home with a builder's thrill. When your roof's in trouble and you don't know who to call, just remember Pitch Roofing, they'll cover it all. Pitch Roofing, roofing done right, keeping you safe day and night. In the Florida sunshine, the stormy skies, Pitch Roofing, roofing done right.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
Welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the great folks at Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799. No better time than now with the economy the way it is, folks. You're not making as much money as you used to probably, or even certainly prices are way too high. You got to find money where you can, and saving money on insurance is a way to go about it. And you don't have to do the work. They do all the work. They scour the dozens and dozens of companies that they represent, and they don't represent any fly-by-night companies, by the way. So when you get an insurance policy from Italiano Insurance, you know it's a good company that's going to pay out if you have a claim. That's one of the benefits. And they'll find you better prices, better situations, and they'll make sure that you are fully insured. 813-877-7799, the best customer service in the business. That's what makes them different. You get a human to answer the phone and a human to work with, which is very strange these days. Speaking of humans,
yeah,
the big one just walked through the door.
The
big O. What's up, brother?
280. There's a lot of human going
275.
on. I have lost about 5 or 10 pounds here.
I found them. I found all 5 of those pounds.
So,
Timmy's keeping your fat.
yeah.
Oh, you can't hear him because you got the bad headphones on.
Shoot. I got the other headphones. Hold on, Timmy, because I love hearing you.
You just got to relocate.
What's wrong with those headphones? Like, why can't they hear everything?
It's only mono for some reason. I don't know. Maybe a wire came loose.
This one is only mono.
Okay.
I gotta plug everything back in.
Replug everything back
Replug
in.
everything.
Hi, buddy. What were you saying? What were you saying about my losing 5 or 10 pounds?
I said, well, I found all 5 or 10 of those pounds. So I know exactly where they are.
Hello. You know when they creep up is, in fact, we were just talking about injuries during the break. The great JP Peterson and I, and talking about Ryan Pepio getting injured, but also, other injuries. When you have the leg injuries, those are, because I've had 2 major ones in the last 4 years, and that's where I put my weight on. I just haven't been able to BS. So be careful with your little ACL tear. It's not little. It's big, because that's
I've definitely gained about 5 pounds here in the
stem
last
cells.
3 weeks.
Stem cells.
And then he loves his stem cells. I've never done it, and I'm gonna have to look into it.
My problem with extracting stem cells is the kit that I bought at the grocery store does not help me extract my own stem cells, and it's not working well.
Holy
Did you
cow.
get the as seen on TV package?
Yeah,
Is that
it's
what
a
you
little
bought?
box.
Yeah.
Same company that does the cancer screening thing.
Yeah, it's also the same company that provided the PEDs to Jerks and Profar, I think.
Oh, Jerks and former Ranger, great.
Holy cow. What happened?
You want
there?
stem cells? Tijuana. Tijuana is where you go.
But you don't know whose stem cells they are, right?
As long as they
You know
work.
how far I go back to Jerks and Profar? I was doing the Little League World Series when he was on Team Curacao.
Yeah, he was always like a young phenom.
Oh yeah, him and his other brother.
Never quite panned out.
Yeah, another
He's
brother that
he's
didn't
had
make it.
some moments.
Had some great moments.
Yeah,
This is the
great moments.
stupidest thing I could ever imagine, to go double dip on PEDs. He's losing $15 million this year.
No. What's stupid is taking $10,000 to throw a ball when you're making $17 million a year.
Yeah.
Like our boys at the Cleveland Indians.
Oh yeah,
That's dumber than the PEDs.
that might have. Yeah, okay, that trumps it.
Yeah.
I got to admit that was Trump.
Rating baseball morons here today on the show.
Wow, that's a segment in its own.
Did not think we'd
Rating
go there today.
Baseball morons.
Yeah.
Listen,
I was called a moron by somebody on Twitter because I was questioning the Nick Martinez signing, since he's had such a wonderful spring.
Wow, that's an ugly spring. The last 2 outings, I believe, is 18 runs, 4 home runs,
14 ERA is hard to.
Yeah,
Hard
yeah.
to not notice.
But he eases into the season. That's what you're not seeing.
He's still working on things.
He's easing into the season. By the way, speaking of
working on his
training,
neck muscles.
Stephen Matt. Wow, yeah, he gave up 3 in one game to Toronto. They had a fun time. Stephen, on the flip side, Stephen Matz has thrown impeccably. Hasn't given up a run.
Really good.
I believe I want to say how many innings? Maybe
I think he's gone 9.
9 or 11.
Yeah,
might be 11. Somewhere thereabouts, where he's
the anti-Nick Martinez.
He's the anti-Nick Martinez.
He's giving up enough runs for all the stars
and making half as much money.
Yeah.
He's at around 7 to Nick's 13. So
and now Pepio's down.
And now Pepio's down with hip inflammation, which I can relate to, but I'm 63.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit different. So this kid is, he should not be having this. But
and my problem is always when we hear this from our esteemed team doctors over at the Rays, Coco Eaton and the gang, it's like, 15-day DL, it's not serious. And then it turns into a season-long injury.
It turns into maybe not a season long, but longer. Listen, this should be, there's certain ones that I think you can work through, and they might take another extra week or two. But I think this one, when you start out the season, you want to err on the side of caution. You've got the warmer weather here that you could leave him back and rehab, and maybe it's something that, just in a couple of weeks, mid-May, he misses 1-2 starts, no big deal.
Yeah,
so you want to err on the side of caution at this point in time.
Yeah.
So the same thing with Uceda, he's already throwing simulated games and things like that. Why rush him and send him, to this road trip up north to start the season? Now, we talked about before, injuries. I think health is going to be the key. He's one of the 9 guys that I say that need to be in the season for 90% of the season.
Yeah.
Right?
No, it's better to be cautious, but it's probably, injuries like this, I keep thinking of you talking about the oblique. These are probably things guys pitched through in the past.
That he's pitched through, and a little impingement, and you're going, listen,
you wish worked
the best thing when I saw it come up, and I go, Pepio on the IL, and I'm going, ooh, what is it? And then I saw that it was a hip.
Yeah, that's at least it's nothing to do with the arm or the shoulder.
Nothing to do with the arm or the shoulder. Even to do with the obliques, because pitchers get them too. I'm okay.
And the other part of that is, if you do have a hip impingement or lower body injury, it's better to rest it, especially as a starter, because when you're trying to pitch through it, what happens is you develop bad mechanics, which can then hurt your arm, that's no good either.
Hey, remember, these guys train 24/7 now. They train all year long, and even then, when you go into spring training, now you get into your team's training and how they do the things. Even though a lot of guys report even earlier than spring training, by the way. Yeah. A lot of guys show up in late January to camp, and they're doing their things. Your body still has to adjust. So there's that situation. Gavin Lux is going through this right now. He's got the shoulder issue. So what does that mean? Hey, welcome back, Joe Boyle. Welcome back, Carson Williams. It looks like Carson Williams is going to be the starting shortstop. Joe Boyle gets an opportunity to show his wares before,
and that's fine.
And I, by the way, I'm a fan of both those young guys.
I was, we were touting, why didn't you just put Boyle or Seymour in the rotation instead of signing Mick Martinez to a $13 million deal?
Too late. It's
I know.
Too late for that one.
Well, we had him. I still don't get it.
He might be a little late on that. Yeah. You're 13 million late and then $1 short.
Yeah, but maybe we could have used that to bolster. Getting outfielder. I don't know.
Nicholas a chance. He hasn't pitched one real in-season game for the Rays yet. Spring training numbers are not. He's not going to be looking back as a grandfather and go, "Let me see how I did back in 2026 spring training." No bueno.
No, nobody cares. I get that, but also his last year was not great. And as he get older,
what was he? 11 and
14, 4.4 ERA, about a 1.2 WHIP, I believe it was.
Yeah, no, that's not great.
It's not great. It's not great. I mean, for a fifth starter, it's okay.
For a fifth starter, is okay.
If I'm paying you $3 million.
I'd like to see, 12 and 10, 4 ERA. Give me 180 innings.
Yeah,
and
take that,
and we'll take that.
Yeah, All right, partner. What else are we going to talk about on the Big O show today?
Well, listen, the season's kicking off tomorrow. Yeah. So
how about that?
We'll talk a little bit of one of the biggest rivals that we have is our brothers, the New York Yankees, and how they're looking. So we'll break.
It's time to hate them again, right?
It's time. Yeah, exactly. Okay. It's
always time to hate the Yankees.
Training's over.
About now, start hating them. Okay.
Thanks for coming and supporting our local economy here for spring training.
Yes.
Appreciate that.
I appreciate it for
Thank
spring
you,
training.
Yankee fans.
Look, you don't have to hate the organization, but hate the team.
Okay. Or you don't have
Does
to
that make sense? I mean, from a Tampa
you don't have to hate the players.
No, just and don't hate George either. George's done a lot don't hate. Yeah. It's a hard one. I'm a Yankee fan, so I
of course. No, it's like
I can't hide it.
This is baseball hate. This is not
right.
It's baseball
hate.
It's
sports hate. Sports hate.
Yeah, it's a totally different deal.
You know what, Timmy? Thank you. It's sports it's a whole different genre.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not real hate.
Not real hate. No, it's
well. Look, I'm a noted baseball historian, and I love the history of the game. And you can't love the history of the game without loving the old Yankees, right? So I have that. Right. But the modern day Yankees, to me, they're my anti-Rangers. So
They become more likable because they don't win anything anymore.
They're just irrelevant.
Wow. That's sport hate right there.
Boom.
Indirect sport hate.
Yep.
Outstanding. Way to leave a show.
Thank you. Appreciate that. On that note, kiss my ass, Yankees.
Sport hate.
But we love you.
Quote,
we love
unquote.
you, but we hate you.
Everything will be on quote unquote on air quotes sport hate.
Sports.
It's gonna be
All
on
right,
you.
Big O show coming up around 12:30, and we're gonna have all kinds of fun talking about baseball. Been very, very good to me.
Baseball.
Thanks to Brian Bradley for joining us here today. Thank you guys for your great comments as always. Thanks to all our great sponsors. We love you, especially Genesis of Tampa, and we will see you tomorrow.
Jamón y queso.
Híjole la leche.
Sport hate.
We
You can say I go.